Hey everyone, it's Glenn with ERD, the guy in the video. And today we're making another in our series of things that have changed over the 30 years we've been in business. And today's topic are microprocessors. So along the table here, we have a wide array of Intel products. And just to point out where we're at, we go from the late 70s all the way to the modern era. So microprocessors were developed in the 1970s, but really didn't show up in people's homes until the mid-80s. And the power that they had early on was they really, couldn't do much. I mean, they're more like a calculator in the earliest ones, and that's an example right here. This is an Intel 4000 series microprocessor. And of course, that microprocessor is one of their first products and one of the first microprocessors ever developed. And it could run a calculator pretty well, but other than that, not much else. So then, as time went on, we moved into the 8086 and the 8088. And these processors were able to do things like run DOS. And your early PC, the IBM PC, used one of these processors right here. So as time went on, years went by and they would develop more power and more technology. So this is an example of a 386 processor, which puts this around 1987, 1988. And of course, right around the early 1990s, you have the first Pentium. This is a Pentium 1. And then through the 90s, they kept increasing the technology. Now, for a while, they got a lot bigger. So this sucker right here, which has a fan assembly on it, is a Pentium 2 with its heatsink. This is actually what it looks like inside if you strip it apart. And this one comes with a whole bunch of other circuitry like RAM, so that they could use this module to put together a PC fairly completely without a lot of other stuff. And then we went to, of course, the Pentium 3, which again, if you look at it, this is what's inside it, inside all these panels that are taken off. And then we went to the Pentium 4. So now this is an example of a Pentium 4. This is what most people are using right now in some version. This is a small one. They come in larger depending on the number of core processors, but none of them are really that big, more like this size right here. So technology has shrunk. So the number of transistors in this was in the thousands. The transistors over here, hundreds of thousands. The transistors over here in the millions. So they really have microsized and shrunk things. Now over here at ERD, we work with a lot of numeric controls and controllers that have a processor in it. Typically, they don't have an Intel product like these. These are mostly used in the PC industry. We usually see microcontrollers, which are basically a version of a microprocessor that is designed specifically more for designing equipment like machine tool or controllers used in manufacturing, things like that. Or actually, we see a lot of these in automotive. This one right here is a almost 500 pin device that gets mounted as a ball grid array, so it gets welded to a board. And this is in a lot of automotive applications, as an example. So through the years, things have shrunk. Things have gotten more complicated. And here you go as a good example. As time goes by, the technology moves forward. When we first started doing work in the 1990s, there were still plenty of units that would come in that used an 8080 or a 8086 or an 8088 processor. So that's why we have them. So you never know when you're going to work on one of those older pieces of equipment still to this day. So once again, hopefully I've given you a good example of the shrinkage of high tech and the shrinkage of microprocessors and a little bit of history of Intel from the late 70s up to the modern period. Once again, Glenn here with ERD, where we're repairing one motor control, one power supply, one obsolete computer board at a time.